Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Rose and I like to discuss anything that happens to women, women's health after the age of 40 onto our very special menopause around the ages of 50, 51. So I like to talk about everything that goes on in between the ages of 40 to 50, the time where we are starting to transition into menopause. So stay tuned. And today we are discussing brain fog. Brain fog. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you walked into it? Not just the normal thing that people walk into a room and forget, but the kind where you actually feel that there is something not right, where you feel like there's a blanket over your head. You can't think straight. You feel like something is squishing your head and holding your brain hostage. The forgetfulness becomes too much. You cannot complete your sentences. You feel like you have blank spaces in your head. You can't concentrate for too long. You can't listen to someone's story for more than 5-10 minutes without feeling tired or your mind rushing off somewhere. And you always have this anxiety that you have in your head that holds you hostage and you can't think straight. Now, if you have that, most of the time for women who are after the age of 40, maybe it starts around, for me, it started around the age of about 45. I'm 47 now. It started from about the age of 45 where I started to really feel like, oh Lord, my brain is slowing down. I can't do the things that I used to do. I cannot think as fast as I used to. And I feel like I have a blanket over my head. Like my brain is being held hostage by something and I can't think straight. This is caused by a drop in your estrogen. So in my previous videos, which will be linked somewhere here, we have talked about the drop in estrogen, the drop in testosterone, the drop in progesterone as you go towards your 50s, as you go towards menopause. And during this time, we know that the brain is also affected, just like your period is affected, just like your physical body is affected. Your brain is the one that functions for everything and is the one that has all these neural pathways, has sent signals to the other parts of the body and sends signals for hormone production and everything. So if your brain feels like it's not functioning very well, it's because you are in perimenopause most of the time. What happens? How does this manifest? So in this particular video, we want to talk about how does it manifest exactly? Why does it happen? And I want to share with you 10 tips of how to make this better for yourself. So let's start about how it manifests and why we feel like we are losing our minds, or why we feel like we cannot function. You're not as sharp as you used to be. So when estrogen drops, when progesterone drops, when testosterone drops, you will find that one of the main things that happen is that your brain sensitivity to stimulus and outside stimuli becomes very high. So when your brain sensitivity becomes very high and anything and everything stimulates you, you do get that mental overload. That mental overload is the one that causes that blanket over your head, that blanket over your brain, and you feel like you cannot do it anymore. A lot of people talk about at this time, they feel like they can't drive. I feel that too sometimes, that when I drive and it rains and I have the wipers on and the radio on and the kids in the car, I feel like it's too much outside stimulation, and I feel like I have to park the car, switch off the wipers, ask the kids to tone it down, switch off the radio, and just park and rest for a while. A lot of women start to say in their 40s, they start not to like driving very much because of this. So it's too much stimulation. That's what brings also on the irritation that we always have. Too much outside stimulation sort of makes you cringe, because sensitivity to just small things, anything that causes that needs a neural response, will make you cringe, will make you tired. So small functions like reading a book, if you used to read like 10, 20 pages in one go, you feel like after the third page, you've like run a marathon, your brain just feels so tired. It's because of the drop in estrogen. There are other reasons as well that cause brain fog. One of the other reasons is because during this time where we are in the phase of menopause, this perimenopause stage, we start to have disturbances in our sleep. So when you cannot sleep, your brain does not have time to recover. It does not have time to rest from the day, to shut down completely and to start a new cycle. And because the world doesn't wait for us to go through that phase and to go through that complete sleep cycle, you find that when you sleep, you have a lot of insomnia. Most people who are in the perimenopause stage have insomnia. They sleep late, they can't sleep. They just lie in bed staring into the darkness. And the anxiety, the depression also manifests a lot during the night. And the bladder also, can't be left out. You keep waking up, going to the bathroom. You keep waking up, going to the bathroom. And once you're up, you cannot sleep. And because of lack of sleep, your brain is never in a properly complete rested stage. And that tires out the brain. It's also tiring when you can't sleep because, like I said, the world doesn't wait for us. So when you wake up in the morning, 6 a.m. for most of us, kids have to be up. You need to start making breakfast. You need to start preparing to go to work. Some of us, 9 o'clock, you have to be sitting in the office, or you have to be out there, doing what you need to do. As a mom, as a woman who goes to work, as someone who's in the house, it's normal. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to get on with it. So your brain never gets time to rest. It never gets time to recharge its energy, to recharge the blood flow. And I know there's been a lot of research by people like Dr. Moscone. So what they have found is that there is a reduction in brain energy during this time where you don't have enough estrogen, where you don't have progesterone, where you don't have enough testosterone. And they've also seen that there is reduced blood flow into certain spaces in your brain. So that also reduces the amount of work that the brain can do. But then this is, it's a cycle. So you can't sleep, you wake up, you are tired, you have to spend the day being stimulated in different places, doing different things. Your brain doesn't sleep, you have insomnia, you don't have enough hormones, your brain is not getting enough blood flow. So it keeps going on and on and on. And that causes the brain fog. Your brain is tired, it needs to rest, it needs to start forming new neural pathways for it to be stimulated to actually work, but not stimulating you in a way that makes you feel tired mentally. And the other reasons why a lot of people during perimenopause get brain fog is anemia. A lot of women bleed a lot and they lose a lot of blood. So their HB is low, they don't have iron, they have an iron deficiency. That also causes brain fog. It makes it worse. and you always feel tired and fatigued. Other things that you can also be lacking include B12. So research has shown that a deficiency in B12 causes brain fog as well, makes it worse. So what is it that we really need to know, and what can we do to make this better for ourselves? Because on my channel, we say this is a phase and we're going to go through it, but go through it with grace and panache, and try and find solutions to our issues, but continue with life and be the awesome selves that we've always been. So one thing you need to know is that it is transitional. It will get better. If it continues on and on and on, you need to see your doctor. You really need to see your doctor so they can check and make sure that you have enough iron, you have enough minerals, you have enough B12, and to look at your lifestyle. So things like sleep hygiene are very, very important. So if you're not sleeping, you have too much insomnia, please go and see your doctor. They will have to help you with that. Or see a therapist. There are people who are called sleep therapists. They will train you how to sleep and how to manage how to have a full sleep cycle, so that your brain can have time to recharge. What are the things that we should not do? So I've talked about making sure that you have a complete sleep cycle, which is number one. We've talked about get checked for vitamin deficiencies, for iron deficiency. Make sure that you settle that. What are the other things that we can do in terms of lifestyle that can help us to go through this transition in a better way, and to make it better for our brains? Number one, stop taking sugar and refined carbohydrates and grains. Try and find grains that do not cause inflammation. There's a lot of research out there that says sugar, refined carbohydrates, grains, and gluten, and a lot of inflammatory causing foods like lecithins, which are found in tomatoes, they dampen down the brain function. So if you're already eating a lot of sugar, eating a lot of refined carbohydrates, eating gluten-laden foods, and eating a lot of inflammation-causing foods, this will dampen down your brain. So you need to look at your diet. What are you eating? Then in terms of eating, you need to also check how much you're eating, if you're eating enough. What happens with a lot of us when we're going through menopause is that we are also gaining weight. A lot of times we are gaining weight. People are trying to fight weight gain. So we eat very little, but this is very bad because it makes the brain fog worse. What you need is to eat little, but eat often. So don't eat too much refined foods. Don't eat too much sugar, but eat small and eat balanced diets and eat often. And the number one food that you need to make sure that you have in your diet is protein. So protein and fiber-rich foods are the most important foods that you need to have for your brain health. You could also have other underlying conditions. Like I said, you might already have anxiety, depression. You might already have other mental health conditions that you need to get your doctor to help you through that, because that will improve the brain fog. And a lot of people, it has been shown in research that if you had COVID, especially long COVID, it does cause brain fog. So imagine that you're going through perimenopause and you get COVID, the brain fog is going to get worse. So make sure that you go to the doctor and you get help for this. Then the other thing is to do not multitask. Multitasking is bad for you, especially when you have brain fog, because unlike people who don't have brain fog, they are able to process a lot of stimuli, a lot of things at the same time. But because you have brain fog, you are not able to process multi things at the same time. You cannot process, you cannot multitask. You'll find that if you try to multitask, I have found that myself. You're trying to work. Let me give you an example. On a computer, and you've got 3 documents open. You read a page of this one and you feel a little bit tired. Then you read a page of another one. Completely different document. You will find that by the time you go back to this one, you might have actually forgotten. And you might actually forgot what you wanted to write in this one, and you've already moved on to the next one. So multitasking is not a good idea. Exercise. You need to exercise physically. That's the other issue that you need to take care of. If you want your brain fog to get better, go outside, go and exercise, breathe in fresh air, go out into the sun, feel the earth, take off your shoes, step on the earth and just feel that. That will increase dopamine in your brain, feel good hormones in your body, and that would help you with brain fog. You also need to exercise mentally, doing things like puzzles, reading books. If you are not already reading books, read an actual book, not on your computer or on your laptop or phone. Read an actual book. You will find that it's a different way that your brain processes you reading on a screen and reading a book. So you need to develop those new neural pathways to keep your brain fresh. Read an actual book. Do puzzles. Do play games, but not on the screen. Try and not do it on the screen as much as possible. Drink a lot of water. As we all know, dehydration causes the brain to shrink. So I need not to rap on about that. Take your supplements, B12, omega-3, which is very good for the brain. And the other thing that you need to do is to use memory aids. So if you find that you're becoming very forgetful, try and have sticky notes. I always have my sticky notes to write things down. If you feel like you're going to forget this, just write it down. Make it a habit. You can find little smaller ones and you can stick them and color code them and make it fun for yourself. You don't have to feel like, oh, now I have to write things down because I forget. I used to be very sharp. It's a phase that you're going through. Find nice color-coded, sticky notes. Write it down if it's urgent, maybe on a pink one or a maroon one. If it's something that you can do later, maybe on a green one. If it's something that needs to be done, kind of urgent-ish, write on an orange one. So, make it fun for yourself, but use memory aids. I've talked about sticky notes. You can make on your computer. You have calendars on your computer. Schedule everything that you need to do on your calendar, and it can remind you. Don't forget to send an email to so and so. Remember to do this at this time. Remember to do this at this time, and move it around as much as possible to make you feel comfortable. Not to overwhelm you, but just make sure that you don't forget certain things. So use as many memory aids as you need to help you to remember things. It's not a bad thing. And then lastly, and one of the most important in the world that we live in now, is to reduce your screen time. So you need to reduce your screen time. Screen time, I'm talking about TVs. Watching TV for too long also increases your brain fog. It makes it worse. Being on your phone for long periods of time, looking at that little screen, also makes your brain tired. On your computers, on your tablets, anything that has a screen that has light will cause a lot of brain fog. So if it helps, ladies, please reduce your screen time. This will make your life better. So if you put in the puzzles, you do the puzzles on paper, on tables with other people, that's stimulating, and you need to put your phone down. So try to schedule these things so you make them part of your life. Don't do anything feeling that, I have to do this because, feeling sorry for yourself, that kind of attitude. No, do it because it's good for you. And you know that, I'm putting this into my life to make it better for me and to keep my brain active, and making sure all neural pathways are firing properly. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching. Catch me on my next episode where I will be talking about weight loss. Yes, the big W, weight loss in menopause.